Hey everyone, it's Tanya Brewington. I want to talk a little bit about kind of the causes of mommy pain. I think for most people, if you've experienced mommy pain, you're well aware that that's what you've experienced. But for some people, they may feel that their experience with their mother wasn't that bad. I mean, I do hear this sometimes, especially from people who think you should just get over it. You know, whatever happened, happened. It's over, it's done. Why are you still talking about something that happened so long ago? You should basically, the idea for the people, especially people who've never had this experience, is you should just get over it. But when I talk to people and some people I'm coaching around their experiences with their moms and what it feels like, the truth of the matter is if you have a difficult, a challenging, a toxic, or a non existent relationship with your mom, it's something that impacts your life almost forever until you make a decision to do something different, do something about it. The reality is the reason it's so important is because your mother is supposed to be that person. This is what we know and understand about moms is that of all people between moms and dads, the dad is like the protector. Really, the dad is the person who goes out, makes things happen. But mom is the person that most people understand to be the nurturer. It's considered the nature of women to nurture other people, whether it's children, whether it's animals, whether it's other people, whoever they are, other women in some cases. And in some cases, we're also finding ourselves in a position where we're nurturing men, whether we accept it or acknowledge it or not. But when it comes to children and you're dealing with a situation where you have a child who doesn't receive any nurturing from their mother for a number of reasons, then the child bears the brunt of that for the rest of their lives in some ways, in some cases. And what I find with people who have that experience is they don't trust anyone. They feel that there's always a shoe that's going to drop. The other shoe hasn't dropped yet, but it's going to drop because they don't see the best in anything. There's a perception that there has to be something that's wrong with you if your own mother didn't love you or couldn't connect with you or didn't protect you or didn't look out for you and just didn't seem to value who you are. It's Maya Angelou who talked about the fact that when a child comes in the room, they usually are looking for their mother to give them some approval, right? Especially if their mom is in the room. And for some moms, they just don't do it. They're looking and they're finding something to criticize. Your collar isn't up. You look at those shoes, whatever it is, your hair isn't right. You need to put some lipstick on. Where's your lotion? You got, all these things that moms do sometimes in their mind is taking care of you. In your mind, it's like they're always criticizing. But it goes beyond that. For people who have mommy pain, or what I call mommy pain, it's also known as having a difficult, challenging, or toxic mom. It happens because, one, your mother may have been verbally abusive. And for children who receive verbal abuse, their expectation is that everyone is going to be verbally abusive to them. And they cringe. They don't want to be seen. They don't want anyone to really pay close attention to them because in their minds, it invites more abuse. Now, whether it's true or not, it invites more abuse in their perspective because the person who's running this is the child who actually received this particular experience. And then you have other children who were physically abused. And there are mothers who are physically abusive. Now, not all mothers are physically abusive, but there are some who are. And what you'll see with women who have dealt with physical abuse is that they tend to be in relationships where there's additional physical abuse because they don't see the worth in who they are and they allow themselves to be abused by their mate, their significant other, their primary person, their husband, their wife, whatever the situation is. It's a cycle that's created because you started off receiving abuse and you'll see it perpetuated over and over and over and over again. And then you have children who are dealing with moms who are dealing with their own addictions. And these addictions can be drugs. They can also be alcohol. For some people, it's sex. For other people, it's other things. But these are the primary ones, the three primary ones that we see: the drugs, the alcohol, and the sex. Those are the things that I'm going to reference. And when you're dealing with that, typically what happens with the child is the child becomes the caretaker of their mother. And so what they learn is that in order for things to be okay, they're the ones who have to pick up the slack. And you'll find that you have children who are extremely responsible at age 6, at age 7, at age 8, because they've always had to do something that actually takes care of an adult who is dealing with, who's not available because they're dealing with their own addiction. And so you have children who have parents who've been drinking and continue to drink and are considered alcoholics. And if their parent does something that is out of line, that puts them in a position where they're passed out, whatever the case is, the child is the one who goes and tries to take care of mom or mommy or mama, right? It's the child, which reverses the roles, because the mother is the one who's supposed to be taking care of the child. But what you learn as a child who's had an addicted parent is that you have to pick up the slack if you want some semblance of what you consider normal at that time. The other thing that happens for children who have dealt with difficult, toxic, or challenging moms is that there's a lot of abandonment in that scenario. And abandonment means that your mother just isn't there. She didn't take care of you. She might have left you with someone. That someone could be her mother or your grandparents on your father's side, but she might have just left other people to take care of you, or left and with the intention of sending you away to, say, foster care or something like that, or left and just left, and it happens. And again, the person who has to deal with the impact of what that is the child. And so those are children who grow up typically angry, especially if they see their mom, and especially if they know that their mother is there. And then, unfortunately, what you get when you're in that situation are the people who are taking care of the children who have things to say about your mother, right? And so not only are you compounded with feelings of abandonment and like, my mother must not love me, and why would she leave me? But then you hear other people who say negative things about your mom, and you're adding that on top of whatever it is you're already feeling. And then you have mothers who abandon you because they died. Now, the truth is, you can't really do anything about that. It still hurts because your mother isn't there. And if you don't have like a stepmom or an auntie or a grandmother who's really stepping in and really trying to support you, then you may feel like your mom just left you behind. Even though she may have died for whatever reason, it still feels like abandonment. And then there are children who really and truly are neglected. And these are parents. This is a mother who just walks away. I mean, she may have the role and the responsibility of taking care of you as a child, but she's not doing that. She's just not doing that. For some people, some of the people that I've counseled and some of the people that I've coached, what their mother has done is spent money on other things. Like, for instance, she may have a full-time job, but she has spent her money gambling. And so at the end of the day, she doesn't have money to take care of the basic necessities of the home. Or she may have a full-time job and then she drinks a lot. And so her money is spent going out, hanging out, doing other things. And then you may have a mom who just doesn't parent at all and leaves you and has left you to fend for yourself. Basically, that means that you have had to figure out where to get food. You may have been scrounging around for food. You might have had to bum from other people food because your mother wasn't around and wasn't available to actually provide the basic necessities of your life. And you may also have noticed that there's a level of indifference that your mother had. She was there. She just didn't make time for you. She was there, but she was more interested and engaged in her in what she was doing as opposed to anything with you. And so it wasn't even the situation that she spent some time with you, but you felt alone in a house with a mom who chose not to spend or invest any time or energy in you. Now she's there, which means essentially you're getting some of your needs met. You have someone in the house, but the basic necessities, the nurturing, the caring, the encouragement, the love, the love, you just didn't get that because she wasn't available to you for that. Now, the other thing that happens with some moms is the fact of competing, having children that she prefers over you. And so you might have a sister or a brother or multiple sisters and brothers, and you're the one that she just seems not to like. And for children who, especially growing up, that leaves you in a position where you're always trying to win her favor. You want your mother to love you. You want your mother to see you. Hey, mommy, see me, see me, see me. And she can't see you because for whatever reason, you're just not the person that she's interested in. And you can tell the difference because what she does with your sister or brother is very different than what she does with you. You may be the one that she talks about. She diminishes and badmouths. And then you see her being nurturing and caring towards your sibling. I'm just going to say sibling because I'm referring to sister or brother. And so you know that there is a difference. And you know that in the larger scheme of things, especially as you've gotten older, you see the continuation of that kind of relationship with your sister and brother. And what happens in this situation is you are in a perpetual state of trying to please someone who you've never been able to please and who actually doesn't seem to be interested in receiving any pleasing or in what you're doing and what you have going on. And so one of the things I notice with people who have that experience is they will turn everything over in order to try to win some attention, win some affection from their mother, and their mother just doesn't have it in her to give. And that's devastating, and that's damaging to the psyche of a young person who doesn't know why they weren't chosen to be special, right? And so you may find yourself as an adult always trying to find that state where you're feeling special, or your assumption is you'll never be special to people because the person who could have, should have, spent that kind of time and attention with you just chose not to do it. Now, unfortunately, the other type of experience that people have when they have these difficult, challenging, toxic relationships with their moms is when their mother doesn't protect them. And when I say protection, I'm especially talking about children who've experienced sexual abuse. Because when I started talking about and really working with people around their relationships with their mothers, it was because I facilitated a number of workshops. I mean, for over 2 years, I was facilitating workshops for women who had experienced sexual abuse as children. And one of the most consistent thoughts and one of the most consistent things was the concern about where was my mother? Why didn't my mother protect me? And it was the most heartbreaking thing because that is where it's almost as if I could deal with this other thing that happened if I knew that my mother was going to be there for me and really look out for me and protect me. And that's what children missed. And so when I've really worked with women who had that experience, the devastation was doubly hard because first of all, you're dealing with the violation of your body, but then you're dealing with the sense that your mother didn't even care or wasn't concerned about what happened, and you were left feeling very unprotected in your life. Now, the reason I spend so much time talking about this issue with moms is not because I'm trying to badmouth anyone's mom. It's because I know that as an entrepreneur, as someone who is making big moves in the world, and really wants to have a sense of freedom to define my life for myself. And this is what my clients want. They want to define their lives for themselves. And what happens is they're stuck with these feelings. And I can tell you that these feelings will derail your attempt to be bigger, to go bigger, go further, go faster, go higher, because they actually eat at your sense of who you are as a person. The reality is, if you feel that the person who had you, the person who birthed you, wasn't interested or didn't have the basic idea or connection to give you the attention that you needed, to give you the nurturing and the love and the protection that you needed, then the sense that most people have is that they can't get that from anyone else. And if their mother was unable to love them, then it's hard for other people to love them either. Because the question becomes, how can I be lovable if my own mother doesn't love me? Now, I'll say that a lot of people feel that way about their dads too. But I don't talk about dads because that's not my lane. This one is my lane. And so when you're thinking about what this mommy issue is, what this mother wound, what this challenging relationship or even toxic relationship is, these are the scenarios that have caused you, if you're paying attention to this, and other people who are having challenging relationships with their moms. This is why they have this kind of issue, concern with their moms. And the truth is, you can't just let it go without dealing with it. You can't just let it go without getting to the heart of what it is and finding a way to heal it. Because in the healing, then you'll find that there's peace for you. And when you have peace, you can do a whole lot more things than when you continue to have this feeling of unworthiness, this feeling of unlovability, this feeling that there's something wrong with you because of your relationship with your mother, which is one of those primary relationships that influences how you see and how you perceive yourself in the world. And so one reason I'm out here talking about this, one reason I am continuously sounding the alarm, it has a lot to do with the fact that unless and until we as entrepreneurs, we as high achievers, we as professionals who are about business and we're trying to make something different, larger, expansive happen in our lives, until we get to the heart of it, we're going to struggle. And this is one place that you can actually get some more information on how to move forward. And so I want to encourage you to subscribe. Listen to the messages. I'm going to be out here again, and I hope to see you then. Take care. Bye for now.